So the other day at dinner, a good friend of mine who just recently started taking drum lessons said, what advice could I give him to get his chops warmed up? Before he starts really getting into a workout and playing. He said, just what would you do for 5 minutes on your front porch if you had a little bit of time? So what better way to share some things with you than on my front porch? So I have a drum pad with me. It's a one beat better pad, and I have the muffling inside now. It sounds pretty much like a traditional drum pad, and I'll show you a couple things that I typically do before I start playing. So the first thing I like doing is some check patterns, marching band style stuff, some singles into doubles, singles, and then into a closed or buzz roll. So I typically would do something like this at a medium tempo. Then I do it with my left. Opens. Single. Now buzz. And of course I do it for longer than I just demonstrated, probably about 90 seconds to 2 minutes on each hand. Then I'd alternate hands. And speed isn't the focus, it's just keeping everything loose, getting my fingers involved, trying to get the most legato sound I can out of the pad as I'm going through the sequence. Once I was satisfied with that, I would probably move on to Swiss Army triplets. I love Swiss Army triplets, I don't know why, but they're one of my favorite rudiments. And I'd probably start right and do those for about a minute or so. So here's some Swiss Armies. And again, it's all about staying loose and getting a really smooth and connected sound out of the sticks and the pad. Then I'd go left. And again, I'd probably do at least a minute on each hand. So 1 minute of Swiss Armies on the right, 1 minute of Swiss Armies on the left. So that takes us to about 3 or 4 minutes of this warm-up sequence so far, if you have the check pattern and then the Swiss Armies. And then I usually like to end with a long buzz roll. Nice and soft. I try to get it really tight and soft and keep everything loose. And the longer you play, the more challenging it is to stay loose, at least for me anyway. So something like this. Right in the center of the pad. Get the fattest sound I can, but listen and try to get a lot of control out of it. Sorry for the cars passing by, but it is a front porch warm-up. So there you go. And when you're pretty satisfied with your roll, what I like to do, especially with these one beat better pads, which I think really separates them from some of the other practice pads on the market right now, you can change the timbre. It's called a timbre jam. So I just took the pad out. This slides in and out. Now check out this roll. Much louder. I can hear all of my deficiencies much better. So if you want to feel better about yourself, keep this in. If you want to hear the truth, take the muffle out and you'll really hear what your roll sounds like when you're warming up. Okay, and I'd do that for about, if I had time, I'd like to do a roll for about 5 minutes straight. The longer you do it, all sorts of muscles start hurting in here that you never knew even existed. And the challenge is to stay loose, and keep the sound legato. One last thing, I usually like to warm up with concert sticks. Even though I predominantly play drum set, and I'm usually using a smaller gauge stick like an AJ3. As you can see the difference here. These are Vic Firth Tim Genis Ligerios. I just like to warm up with concert sticks. It's a little meatier, a little beefier. Not quite marching band sticks. This is kind of in between drum set sticks and marching band for me. So I really like concert sticks, or like a heavy metal stick. Another stick I like to keep in my bag that I hardly ever use on drum set, but I use exclusively for warming up, are the Vic Firth Ray Luziers, the great drummer from Korn. A little beefier, great for warm-ups. So I hope that helped, and thanks for listening.